The following program is sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler television network.
Welcome to Today's Home Remodeler. I'm Stuart Keith, and on today's show, we're walking through the design, selection, and installation of a new home's heating and cooling system. We'll begin with our heating and cooling specialist, Larry Hacker from Temperature Systems, who explains the importance of design in creating an efficient and effective HVAC system. We'll then learn how in new construction, your HVAC contractor installs more than just your furnace, and share some advice on what to look for when selecting a new heating system for your home. And we'll finish up today's show seeing how advancements in technology allow homeowners to control a home's HVAC system and much more with the touch of a button. So we have a lot to cover today, and we'll get started right after this message.
Think home comfort is just controlling the temperature? Well, think again. Did you know that a continuously working Infinity air purifier can filter out 95% of airborne particles? And better yet, this air purifier kills or inactivates up to 99% of everything it captures to keep your air healthier. Carrier's innovative ventilators are designed to remove stale air from your home while keeping valuable energy from escaping. Humidifiers can help you feel more comfortable at lower temperatures during winter months while protecting your wood furniture and floors from drying out and cracking. CO alarms protect your family from deadly carbon monoxide. And UV lamps kill mold and bacteria within the system before they can be pushed out into the air of your home. So when you think home comfort, think beyond temperature and contact the professionals at RA Heating and Air Conditioning, serving South Central Wisconsin for more than 30 years. RA Heating and Carrier, for all your indoor air comfort needs.
When building a new home, proper design of an HVAC system is extremely important for indoor air quality and comfort. So let's begin today's show with Larry Hacker from Temperature Systems, out at a new home construction project where he explains the homeowner's role in the process. Wow, Larry, what a beautiful new home, very early on in the construction process, and we're here just in time. Looks like the heating contractor has begun the installation of the heating and cooling system.
Yeah, they have. They've basically come in, placed the unit where it's supposed to be for this particular installation, and at this point the coil and the furnace is set. They've already started their return drop into it.
One thing that jumps out at me is there seems to be a lot of prefabrication going on nowadays. Is that becoming more common?
Absolutely becoming more common. Ideally, from a construction standpoint, all of the subs want to get in and out of here as quickly as possible. This way, they're not in the way of the electrician or the plumber. They each can work into their areas and speed up the installation process. So they'll fab this externally, bring it from the shop to the space, and from there do the installs.
Sure, it might be a good question for a homeowner to ask when they're selecting their heating and cooling contractor. Do you do any prefabrication out there? Exactly. I mean, I think it looks really nice, and it's probably easier to fabricate the materials off-site in a controlled environment than trying to do it out here.
By far, and then they do all of that specifically off the plan and the design necessary for this application.
Sure. Well, before we get into the installation process itself, I'd like to take a step back and learn more about the design process. Because after all, long before you get to this stage of the construction process, you have to design not only the home, but all its systems. Now, who's in charge of designing a heating and cooling system in new residential construction?
In most cases, it goes back to the heating contractor working with the homeowner. And then some distributors like ourselves, we offer a service to be able to do that design work for them based on the conversation that takes place from the heating contractor to the customer that in the end is going to be the owner of the home.
Okay, so are you saying that as a person building a home, I should be meeting early on with a heating contractor?
Ideally, yes, because that's the point which the homeowner can have the conversations about what options are available for the system. So they would go through all of the varying options and accessories that are present, And then from there, they can make the educated decision, do I want better filtration? Do I want better temperature control through zoning? All dependent upon how they're going to use their home once they occupy it.
So it seems to me that the occupant's lifestyle is really what ultimately should be determining the design of the system.
It's critical to the design of the system based on how they're going to use it and what conditions they really want in their home.
So when I'm meeting early on with my heating contractor, what factors are coming into play? I mean, what should I be conveying to them?
Many of the things that we see here, they're going to be eventually finishing off the lower level. So they're going to want this comfortable. It's not just going to be a basement. It'll be a family room someday. How do you keep that comfortable? Putting in a zoning application.
Okay.
Then they're going to be looking at, is there allergies? Are there other things that the homeowners already have to deal with from a health issue? They may want better filtration. They may need humidification. They may want an air-to-air heat exchanger for controlled fresh air. All of those conversations should be had early on in the first phase of the design and decisions on what they're going to be putting in for a system.
Fair to say even before you break ground, you should be talking to your heating contractor?
Yeah, it should very well be. That should be a part of, after we pick out the builder, we decide on the square footage and what we're going to be building, meeting with the heating contractor, the plumbing, the electrical, all of that should come into play at that point in time.
So is it fair to say that the home's design also comes into play or can affect the heating and cooling system?
Absolutely. It's what they're going to be using it for and how they're going to be living in the space is critical to the type of system or systems they may need to be putting in to be able to take care of that entire structure.
So very early on in the building process, meet with your heating contractor to properly design your system. Now back to the installation. How important is the ductwork?
Very, very important. That is critical in order to get the proper airflow out to the extremities of the building where it's needed. And based on the size of the equipment, the ductwork is going to change in size. The larger the heating capacity, the larger the ductwork, and vice versa if it gets smaller.
Well, I remember in previous shows, and especially in a house this size, you have some long runs. And I remember how you said you had to start large and progressively get smaller to maintain the velocity?
Yeah, you want to maintain the velocity so that you don't lose the heat into the space below. And so they do that in order to maintain proper airflow all the way out through even to the far extremities of the building.
And you know, how many times do you run into people that say, oh yeah, we're pretty satisfied with our heating system, except there's that one room at the far end. Never seems to cool right or heat right.
Correct, exactly. And that would be one of those things. Proper design up front, proper sizing of the ductwork is critical in order to make sure that that doesn't happen in this particular job.
Okay, so to wrap up this segment, if you're building a new home, don't neglect the design of the heating and cooling system, and it begins extremely early on when you're designing your home. Design all your systems, meet with your heating contractor, and ultimately you're going to reap the rewards of a properly designed system.
You sure are.
Okay, well let's get out of their way, we'll let them get back at work, and we'll pick it up a little further along in the process. Stick around. We'll discuss what factors should be considered when selecting a new furnace next, when we continue with today's Home Remodeler.
Looking for an HVAC professional you can count on? Look no further than General Heating and Air Conditioning. For over 65 years, General Heating and Air Conditioning has been setting the standard for complete indoor comfort throughout Dane County. General Heating and Air Conditioning offers a wide variety of carrier heating, cooling, and indoor air quality options for your home or business. And their fully equipped mobile fabrication shop is a remarkable time-saving tool that helps them accomplish their goal of replacing your furnace or air conditioning system in a single working day. And when it comes to service, General Heating and Air Conditioning is second to none. Their well-trained technicians serve a 5-year apprenticeship, wear company uniforms, and are EPA certified to handle refrigerant in a legal and safe manner for the ultimate in peace of mind. They also service most major brands, which means when your existing system is in need of a tune-up or repair, you can count on General Heating and Air Conditioning to get it operating at its peak efficiency. So when you think heating and cooling, think Carrier and General Heating and Air Conditioning for all your indoor air comfort needs.
Now let's continue with Larry Hacker from Temperature Systems. Wow, Larry, I love to see craftsmanship in action, and downstairs, that was a great example. Seeing those guys get in there, I would call them craftsmen when they're putting up that ductwork and doing the fabrication that they have to do on site.
Yeah, when you take a look at what they did, they are craftsmen. They have to customize that installation specifically for the job, and they're doing a fantastic job down there.
And is that a good thing for a homeowner to look into before they hire a heating and cooling contractor is ask about the experience and who's going to be installing their system?
Yeah, I think that's critical. The other thing to do, it wouldn't be a bad idea, is to go to some open houses where the different construction companies you're choosing to go with, go take a look at the bones of the house. Go into the basement. See how things look. That's going to give you a good indication on the quality, the craftsmanship that they're going to put into it, because that heating system is really the heart of the comfort of the home.
Sure. And you know, I love visiting a site at this stage of the construction process. Is it a good idea for a homeowner to try to get out here, check with their builder, make sure it's okay, but come out here and start seeing their dream turn into reality?
I think it's a great suggestion, because then you can see what's going on. The other thing is you may have that aha moment. Gosh, we really want to move that cabinetry. Can we move that ductwork? Can we have that supply where I'm going to be standing in front of? That's the time that they potentially can still make some of those changes.
Okay. Now, you know, we're always downstairs talking about furnaces, furnace installation, but the heating contractor really is involved throughout the house, aren't they?
Yes, they are. There's a lot more to it than just the ductwork downstairs.
So over here I see that there are some supplies coming up. Now, why are supplies always seem to be near windows?
You want to put them at the source of your greatest loss, which is your glass load. So they put the heat here. They also then, obviously cooling in the summertime, to be able to take care of that convection and radiation that comes in through the windows and the heat loss.
And again, if you're a homeowner and you come out on site, what you just said, you might be able to move those supplies if you're early enough in the process if something changed. And hey, we're going to be putting something here, we don't want to block that supply.
Absolutely, yeah.
Another important component when it comes to heating and cooling are the return airs, right?
They sure are, both from the heating side and the cooling side. We want to be able to take the air from the place where we're trying to condition the best. In other words, in the summertime, we're pulling that hot air off the ceiling because we're cooling the home. Sure. In the wintertime, we want to pull that cold air off the floor because we're heating the home. So it's very important that we have those, and then it is the homeowner's responsibility, spring and fall, to make those adjustments, to be able to open or close that lower return, to be able to make sure that their system performs correctly.
Sure, and I know that returns are in most rooms in the house, but there are some that you don't have returns, like you typically don't see them in a bathroom.
Right, you don't see them in a bathroom. A lot of times you won't see them actually in the kitchen either, just because of the cooking fumes and things like that.
Now up on the main level, anything else a heating contractor is responsible for?
Yeah, the heating contractor, when we talk about it, ventilation is kind of in the middle of their name, HVAC. So they will usually be involved in venting the bath fans that would be going into the bathrooms. They generally will vent the dryer vent. The other things that they do a lot of times is also for the kitchen hood. If they're going to have a vented kitchen hood, generally they're putting in the ductwork to get that exhaust air outside of the building. The other thing is we see here, there is a fireplace. There are fireplaces today that you can actually duct right back into the return air, so you can take the heat that that fireplace is creating and distribute it evenly throughout the house, which is a neat advantage.
So really, you look at how important is your heating contractor? Extremely important, and not only on the installation, but in the indoor air quality and comfort of a home.
Sure.
Now earlier we talked about the importance of design and being intimately involved in that aspect if you're the homeowner building this new home. One aspect of that was making the selection on all the different products that are out there. Mm-hmm. So let's spend a little bit of time on, maybe you could share some advice. What should I be looking at when I'm selecting a furnace?
There's a lot of different things besides a unit that puts heat out. It's the amount of stages that the furnace can have today, from single stage, two stage, variable speed, or modulating. Also, the blower motor technology is a great advancement today versus what we used to run with years ago, and that can be a huge cost savings for the homeowner. In the case of this particular home, they're going to be running their fan continuously. That way they can have proper filtration throughout the year. They can clean the particles out of the air as it operates. The big thing, though, is that electric motor on that furnace today is going to be very, very electrically efficient. It's going to save them a considerable amount of money now versus the old technology, which was straight AC.
So you're telling me there's really that much money to be saved by upgrading the blower motor in a furnace?
Yeah, there's considerable money to be saved in that. Generally, you can save between $300 to $400 a year in annual electrical savings if you're running that blower continuous, and you really want to anyway, because it helps even the temperature out throughout the whole space.
So at several $100s a year that you can save, there's probably a great payback. It probably doesn't cost that much more to upgrade the furnace at the beginning.
Right, yeah, you're looking at a very, very short payback to go from an AC motor up to an ECM motor.
And you're not saying that you can't run your old furnace continuously and increase the indoor air quality of your home. It's just going to cost you a lot more if you don't have an upgraded ECM motor.
Absolutely, it's going to cost you more that way.
Okay, so look for the latest, greatest ECM DC drive motor. Mm-hmm. Don't worry too much about gas efficiencies anymore because they're all above 90%?
Right, they're running between 92 to 98.5% efficient today. So your gas side is pretty standard there. The beauty of it is those your staging options that we have today, which is going to increase your comfort level. You think of when we cook, you're not cooking on off, you're cooking variable heat.
Sure.
You're doing the same thing through the furnaces today to match the output of the furnace to the load of the house.
Oh, awesome. Okay, what about add-ons? I mean, what should a homeowner be considering at this stage?
Well, at this stage, there's many things that they can look at. Upgrade to the air cleaners. We talked a little bit earlier downstairs. So you can do capture and kill technology today. If I have allergies or anything like that, it does a much better job. Add humidification. They're going to have a fireplace in this case. They're potentially going to dry the air out by running that. And in turn, you want to add humidity back in again to maintain comfort. And you can bring in air-to-air heat exchangers today to have controlled ventilation so I can have the fresh air being introduced when I'm occupying the space and when I need it. So it does a great job that way as well.
Well, and all these different add-ons and the furnace selection, I mean, we're talking about indoor air comfort here, indoor air quality. You think about how many hours a day in your lifetime you're going to spend in your dream home. Why not do it right from the get-go? Is it fair to say you get your best value doing this all at this stage?
Absolutely. You get your best value up front at this point versus having to have them come back in, dismantle what they've already built to accommodate another item into that system.
Stick around. We'll see what these homeowners ultimately selected next when we continue with today's Home Remodeler.
Whether your furnace stops running or your air conditioning system needs to be upgraded, you can count on RA Heating and Air Conditioning to provide the service and equipment you need to be comfortable again. As a certified woman-owned business with more than 30 years of experience in heating, cooling, and ventilation, RA Heating and Air Conditioning carries the full line of top-quality equipment from Carrier. From products as simple as ventilators and humidifiers to complete forced air and heating and air conditioning systems to ultra-efficient geothermal heating solutions for your home or commercial building, they're committed to providing you the best products and service. And be sure to ask about their residential value and commercial care programs, in which their certified technicians can keep your system running at its peak efficiency through routine off-season maintenance at discounted rates. So when you think heating and air conditioning, think RA Heating and Carrier for all your indoor air comfort needs.
Earlier in today's show, we learned why when building a new home, homeowners should work closely with their HVAC contractor to design a system around their lifestyle, and also discussed what you should consider when selecting a new furnace. Now let's see what our homeowners ultimately selected as we continue with Larry Hacker from Temperature Systems. Wow, Larry, we were here a couple months ago. The house was in rough stage. Now it's completed. It looks beautiful on the outside, equally impressive on the inside. And when you talk about impressive, this system just looks spectacular to me.
Yeah, you can take a look. I mean, the craftsmanship that you can see just right here in the ductwork says a lot about the installer that put this in. That company takes pride in their work, and you can really see it. The straight lines, the great seams, all of the hardware fit and finish and how it's put together. That says a lot about the care that went into the system plus how it's going to perform over the life of it.
And you know, earlier in the show we talked about how it's a good idea if you get out at a rough stage of the construction, but even before that, when you're designing your system and selecting a contractor, go visit some of their projects that are under construction.
Exactly.
And is that what you're saying? Take a look at how straight the ductwork is. Your eye can really tell a lot about the quality of the work that's going to be done.
Absolutely, because this is an integral part of the entire system working correctly. And if there's a lot of holes and gaps and loose fit and finish, you're going to be losing that precious air downstairs when in reality you want it upstairs. So in the end, going to save you a lot of money that way as well, just in getting the airflow where you need it, when you need it.
Sure, and you know, throughout the show we've talked about all the different add-ons and the role of the homeowner in selecting those add-ons. What did these homeowners opt for?
You know, they opted for quite a bit, which is nice to see. They're going to have a very comfortable home for the life that they're here. They selected the modulating furnace, which modulates the airflow and the heat capacity as it matches what our outdoor weather conditions are. And if you think of the weather extremities that we have from 95 degrees in the summer all the way down to 15, 20 below in the winter, this will modulate accordingly as our temperature outside dictates. They also went with a 5-speed air conditioner. It will work very similar. As it starts to warm up outside, we don't need full capacity, so it will kick on in a very low stage, like it's actually running right now.
Wow, it's nice and quiet. That's one thing I like. And just quickly, you know, the nice thing that I learned throughout today's show is that with this unit, they can run that fan continuously at a very economical rate.
Absolutely, which is really what we want to do. They're going to be utilizing great filtration. We asked about the accessories. They've got the high-end capture and kill filter. We also have a zone system in here, so they've broken their home down in more smaller controllable areas. So the bedroom is separate from the living area, from the kids' bedrooms to the lower level. We don't have one light switch in our home. This allows you to have multiple areas to control from as you utilize the home.
And this house is about, I think they said 1,700, 1,750, so on one level, so about 3,500 square feet. Are you finding more and more savvy homeowners are opting to zone their system to go with higher end pieces of equipment?
Absolutely. That's one of the questions we get a lot of times from a new homeowner after they realize what they could have had because they really didn't look at the options up front. I stress that. That's important that a new homeowner looking at a new home today figure out what are the things that are available to help them be much more comfortable while they're indoors.
Okay, and of course the little blue boxes up there, those are the zone dampers themselves for each of the zones?
Correct. That's actually what drives and controls the airflow to the different areas. The other thing you can see on here is they also added a whole home dehumidifier. Now we can think the good old days you'd have little dehumidifiers plugged all over your basement, you had to go empty them or you had piping running throughout. This actually takes care of the entire home and is a much more efficient operating dehumidifier than what those small little cassette units are.
And this is tied right in centrally to all the duct systems. So really it's a set it and forget it system. You're not going to have to worry about it. So we know how humid it gets in our summer weather and our summer months. This can actually dehumidify our homes automatically?
Right, automatically, much more affordably than what those other styles are, and it's convenient because you don't have to sit and empty a bucket all the time.
Sure, and conversely, in the winter, it gets very dry here, and all that static electricity around the house and everything. Looks like they opted for a humidifier as well?
Exactly. They've taken care of both ends of the spectrum. Wintertime, they need humidification, summertime dehumidification, along with what the central system will do through the cooling process.
Well, you know, I agree with you. I'm happy to see these homeowners opted for these pieces of equipment, all the add-ons, but of course, they're going to have to control it all. How are they going to do that?
Let's take a look at that. It's an infinity system. I'll show you upstairs.
And we'll do that next when we continue with today's Home Remodeler.
Think home comfort is just controlling the temperature? Well, think again. Did you know that a continuously working Infinity air purifier can filter out 95% of airborne particles? And better yet, this air purifier kills or inactivates up to 99% of everything it captures to keep your air healthier. Carrier's innovative ventilators are designed to remove stale air from your home while keeping valuable energy from escaping. Humidifiers can help you feel more comfortable at lower temperatures during winter months while protecting your wood furniture and floors from drying out and cracking. CO alarms protect your family from deadly carbon monoxide. And UV lamps kill mold and bacteria within the system before they can be pushed out into the air of your home. So when you think home comfort, think beyond temperature and contact the professionals at General Heating and Air Conditioning, serving the greater Dane County area for over 65 years. General and Carrier for all your indoor air comfort needs.
Now let's see how the latest technology can control your furnace and a whole lot more as we finish up today's show with Larry Hacker from Temperature Systems.
What they actually have here is the Infinity control system. We can see the wall control here. It's showing us the living room right now at 74 degrees. A double press is going to open up so you can actually see the 4 different zones we described downstairs already. So in this case, let's look at the living room. It shows you it's set to 74. So if I get home, I'm a little warm, a simple decrease of a couple degrees, couple clicks, it's going to now start to drive cooling to cool the space down.
How long will it stay at that setting?
It'll stay like this until the next cycle. However, as we are new homeowners, we're going to learn what we like, and then we can come in conveniently and actually preset this for what we realize the temperatures we enjoy is what we want it to work on.
So you can control the system and really design it to run around your lifestyle at different times of the day?
Absolutely. They can come in here and recustomize it based on their lifestyle, how they're using the home, specific for each zone. The other things that you can get into is vacation schedules. You can actually even watch energy tracking, so you can see what type of energy usage we've had throughout the month. In this case, it's already in July, $34 it's cost us. That type of information is available.
Boy, is that awesome. And then back here, didn't I actually see a little weather icon as well?
Absolutely. So you've got the weather at your fingertips for the next 5 days for here. And, you know, a lot of times people think, why? It's going to help you understand. Today it's going to be raining. And at that point, it's important to know, how do I need to dress the kids? What do I need to prepare for? It's at your fingertips for the homeowner.
Okay, this obviously controls the furnace and air conditioner. What about all the different add-ons? Are they controlled here as well?
Yeah, absolutely. It also controls your dehumidification as well as humidification. It'll also indicate to the homeowner when the filter needs to be replaced, when they have to put a new humidifier pad in. The type of maintenance that the homeowner can do is going to be depicted here and show them the time and the proper intervals to do that.
And it's all controlled right here by just a few touches of the button.
From here, as well as conveniently, it can be done through an app on your phone. So you can do it local or when you're remote.
Oh, I love to see advancements in technology. And speaking of advancements, these homeowners actually took it one step further with that new core technology.
Yeah, they did. Let's take a look at that. This is the core home automation technology. And what we can see here is a variety of things. This takes our HVAC control system one step further. It allows us to automate different things within our home. So this is the central panel that we would initially go to set it up, but then you can add a whole variety of different things. Being able to turn on and off different electrical components, having the security and peace of mind of flood as well as freeze temperature sensors. So let's say you do have a pipe that broke in the basement. This is going to go ahead and signal you have water condition going on. You could even control a valve to turn off your main water supply. And then cameras, and this is where a lot of folks really get interested. They can see what's going on. If they want to make sure that their kids got home safe, they could go online and be able to take a look at their home's camera. And the beautiful thing is all of these things can be added and customized as your need grows. And it doesn't have to be tied into our system. It's an independent core home automation system is what this entails, and it ties into Infinity if they put an Infinity system in.
Boy, you know, I just love to see all this, and I like that it's an a la carte system, and as I understand it, there's no monthly service fee for any of this. Once you buy it, it's yours,
you buy
and you can add on as your lifestyle changes.
Absolutely. The other nice thing is you like this here. What if you have a second home? You can have peace of mind while you're at your house. What's going on at my second home? All of these things can be tied in and interfaced.
It can also be retrofitted into my existing home?
Absolutely. On a retrofit basis, it works great. These are very, very easy to plug and play, and they're wireless back to the control and to the system, so you're in great shape that way.
Well, I know from visiting their website that this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so many different components out there. And their website I found to be very user-friendly and a lot of good instructional videos.
Yeah, it's very user-friendly. It's all-encompassing. It has all the how-tos in there to be able to understand what are your opportunities to apply these. And the beauty is, as our imagination grows, there's more and more things becoming available for us to be able to add on to automate even further what things are going on within our house.
Well, you know, Larry, on today's show, we've covered an awful lot of ground, and what I've learned is it starts extremely early on in the design process. You want to meet with your HVAC contractor and learn about all the different latest, greatest technologies that you can incorporate into your home, so at the end of the day, you ultimately end up with the most comfortable home designed and controlled around your lifestyle. Thanks a lot for sharing it all with us.
Thank you.
The preceding program was sponsored by the Today's Home Remodeler television network.